Fear! Fear!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Pennywisens and Babadookers, and vengeful seagull gods of all ages.
Vengeful seagull gods?
Vengeful seagull gods.
Okay.
If you watched The Lighthouse, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I haven't seen The Lighthouse. Perhaps that will be a topic of discussion at some point.
Welcome to the Fear podcast. For those of you not in the know, Fear stands for Film, Exorcism, and Review. I believe that's what we decided on.
Yes, Film, Exorcism, and Review. I'm going to move it back a little bit because I feel like it's not getting our faces very well. There we go. Yes, that's better. Okay.
All right.
Hi. Yes.
Hi.
This is janky-ass first podcast setup. Where we sit on a bed and the camera sits on a table across the room.
This is the most. This is ground level. No, this is you.
Ground Zero podcast.
This is you dig out the ground underneath and bury the pole in the ground podcast.
Ugh.
This is going to be the podcast that we desperately recommend people never watch ever and want scrubbed off the internet.
Well, okay, it'll be just like all the movies we watch.
Oh, that's so true. Not all of them.
That's true.
There's at least one that I want people to know about.
Let's briefly talk about the other movies.
Okay.
Because we have 3 big ones here, but there are a few others.
I'm going to give a brief rundown of what movies we watched. So, first we have The Adventures of Captain Marvel.
That would be the DC Captain Marvel, aka Shazam.
Yeah.
This is a 1941 TV series. There are 12 episodes. We watched
5.
Like 5, yeah. We watched like the
5 all the way through. We watched 5 all the way through and like a little snippets
we jumped
of the others.
through it because it's
boring.
It's boring as hell.
We'll get to that more in depth later.
And then we have
next we watched
Japanese
Rug Cop.
A
Japanese comedy about a detective
who throws his wig at people.
Working
his
in a
stand.
Yeah,
basically.
he works in a department with a bunch of other wacky goofball characters.
Yeah.
All of whom also have
gamers.
weird personality quirks or weird powers.
Yeah.
There's one person who uses their penis like a bat.
We'll get to that later.
And
then,
speaking of penis,
oh god,
meet the Feebles.
A R-rated sexual-ish parody of the Muppets.
It's the Muppets that fuck.
Yes, but that doesn't even even begin to describe the horror. We'll get into that.
We're gonna have we're probably gonna devote at least half the video just
to the horror of that. Yeah.
Are you timing us?
No, this camera records 30 minutes at a time and then stops, so I need to, it's 5:15 right now.
I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I keep track of time.
So, let's start with, which one do we start with?
Wait, before we start with any of these, I want you to talk briefly about your experience with The Beast and Brothers Grimm.
Oh,
Two other movies we rented.
Okay.
I've already seen Brothers Grimm.
Hold on a moment. Just quick, entertain them all.
Yes, I've already seen Brothers Grimm. It's a mid-2000s movie. Matt Damon, Heath Ledger. That's the era we're in. I told him to watch it because it has a few scenes with really bizarre, disturbing imagery.
It's got some of the worst.
Scoot over a little bit.
Yeah, it's got some of the worst CGI I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brothers Grimm. It's basically a story about the Brothers Grimm.
It's their
superhero origin story.
Superhero origin story, basically, which is just as dumb as it sounds.
They start out as charlatans pretending to be witch hunters,
and then
they get employed by the French government to go to a German countryside and be actual witch hunters.
Okay, the scene I remember that made me recommend that you watch this was the one where, so it's with a horse.
The horse? Oh, yeah!
Yes, the horse scene.
Oh,
describe it for me, because it's been a while.
So, for those of you not aware, the brothers, those of you not aware, the Brothers Grimm go to this town, they try to find out what's going on with these hauntings. Why are there's a bunch of little girls disappearing, and they want to know why.
Doesn't one of them get eaten by a horse? Is that what the scene is?
What I'm building to.
Okay.
So,
yes.
The Brothers Grimm investigate a forest, trying to find the source of the
The gamer fuel.
The gamer fuel. The G fuel. The hauntings. They find nothing. So they go back. But while they were investigating the forest, one of the main bad guys showed up and fed their horse a bunch of spiders.
Yes. This is what I. Oh god.
So when they get back to town and try to sleep the night away in order to not deal with the evil forest. In order to not have to...
Matt Damon and Heath Ledger are the two brothers.
This is Matt Damon and Heath Ledger before either of them learned how to say no.
Yeah, exactly. But
anyway,
sorry.
Here's the golden part. So, the horse is in a stable. It's getting sick. It's not feeling well. A little girl named Elsa. Possible relation to Disney Elsa, I'm not sure.
Let it go.
This might be the secret origin story of Elsa.
Just like it's the origin.
Anyway, she goes to check on the horse. When she pets the horse's snout, she finds spiders in it. And then as she pulls her hand away, her hand is covered in spider webs. As the horse runs out of the stable with her getting dragged along behind it, it then whips its head backwards and then swallows the girl whole.
Isn't she like enveloped in a spider web at this point?
She gets wrapped in a spider web and then is swallowed whole.
Yes.
By a horse.
Yes.
Fuck this movie.
So there's like one or two scenes like that with just bizarre, disturbing imagery like that.
There's another scene where a kid goes to a well.
The well scene.
They get splashed in the face by a crow that fell in the well.
Oh god, yeah. With like ink.
With ink, it gets rid of their eyes.
Yes,
their
it
nose.
like removes their facial features.
And then out of the ink grows a fucking gingerbread man.
That's right. That's
gingerbread
That's the origin of the gingerbread man, except that's not even in
Brothers
story.
Grimm
In
story.
fact, now that I think about it, Elsa, gingerbread man, none of those are Brothers Grimm stories.
The only Brothers Grimm are pretty much exclusively like German fairy tales and like
I don't think they did any fucking research.
No.
For this movie at all.
I doubt it.
We're making it sound more interesting than it is.
Oh, it is not interesting.
Because he was not amused.
It is the worst kind. It is the worst kind of example of a early to mid 2000s movie. It is boring. It is cliched. It is generic, and the CGI looks awful, and it makes you not care, which is a shame because there's some fucking ludicrous CGI in this that I would love to be able to hate, but I don't care enough to actually hate this movie. They could have gone for a raunchy sort of pastiche of the Brothers Grimm, where it makes them look like complete assholes, where they like go around stealing a bunch of
they're not
folklore.
They both have like this dumb inner turmoil drama shit or
which
something.
Makes no real sense.
I don't even remember what it was about.
It was about
paying attention.
It was about, as a kid, one of the Brothers Grimm bought a bunch of magic beans thinking it would save their sick sister.
Oh, Jesus.
And then the other one never lets go of that fact.
They treat this like it's such an important thing.
Like
they take it really seriously.
The cynical brother makes it his life job to bully his other brother and constantly remind him about magic beans because of this.
You know what their dynamic reminds me of? Did you ever watch Supernatural?
No.
They have
but I know what you're talking about.
They have the same annoying dynamic as Sam and Dean. I only watched like season 1, and one of the things that turned me off of the show was the brothers were constantly bickering about the most dumb bullshit. This is exactly what the Brothers Grimm do, the whole movie. And they're so serious about it.
Basically, you can sum up Brothers Grimm as bad, even worse Supernatural, or if you want, just Everyone's an Asshole, the movie.
Ugh. Speaking of Everyone's an Asshole, the movie.
Speaking of
the Feebles.
Oh,
but we'll talk about that later.
Speaking of assholes, The Beast.
Oh God, the Beast. Also, this story also involves horses. We have a contingency.
There is a connecting theme between these two
Tell
movies.
us about your experience with the Beast.
So
wait, okay, no, hold on.
Wait,
before you explain it, I'm just gonna play the video of you just reading the back of the box.
Okay.
Because it's on my Instagram, so I'm just.
All right. If you want a summary of the Beast, listen to this.
Yes, hold on. I'm getting to it. It's loading.
Yeah.
Yes. What?
About the movie The Beast, the erotic Beauty and the Beast tale.
Oh wait, notification. No, I moved past it. Fuck.
No, fuck.
In the 18th century, a beast lived in the woods of an aristocratic estate, and this beast possessed of a giant phallus and insatiable lust.
It's a porn movie.
Set upon a beautiful young lady of the house. Oh God! 2 centuries later, the tale of the beast would return in the dreams of an American heiress, contracted to carry the male descendant of the same crumbling aristocratic family and their secret. Walarians borrow Schwick's erotic
That was him trying to say the
masterpiece
director's
is a
name.
controversial rework of the Beauty and the Beast that had been forbidden for 25 years.
A controversial version.
Yep. Follow me on Instagram, ChuckBatman5. I just made a post about janitor Russ Poopatine from Fanboy and Chum Chum.
Why?
I don't know why.
Why are you like this?
Anyway.
Also follow me on Instagram at @TheCaptainKirk.
He's private for some reason. He needs to make his account public. So.
No, if I make my account public, I'll create an
vortex.
I'll create an unending
unholy,
eclipse that'll allow chaos gods to reign across society.
Yes.
But anyway, the
we
Beast.
never really properly introduced ourselves.
Right.
His name is Kirk.
I'm Kirk Zanetti. You can follow me at @TheCaptainKirk on Instagram.
And I'm Coleman Hahn. You can. This is my channel, so
yeah, this is
presumably
Coleman Hahn.
Coleman Hahn. Title
in progress.
pending. I
Name
want
in
to
progress.
change my account name.
I keep telling you, Cool Train.
Cool Train. I hate that so much. Okay. But the Beast. Tell us about your experiences with the Beast. So with that summary in mind,
I put the Beast in the DVD. I need to break this down piece by piece. I put the Beast in
break it down.
my PS4.
He put the Beast.
I turned it on.
Play it.
I went. The menu screen popped up, so I went to go get myself a drink because reading that description.
Of course.
I knew I needed to be drunk to watch this movie. So, I got a drink.
I wonder if Meet the Feebles would have actually been good if we'd been drunk. Sorry, let's stick to this.
Maybe. Maybe. Anyway, so I got myself a drink. I turned on the movie. After like a full 2 minutes of like French logos that I couldn't read because I don't know French. The opening shot was a horse riding into fame with a massive phallus.
Yep.
And then it immediately cuts to a horse's twitching vagina.
Oh God.
And I think you guys know where this is going. The horse with the phallus mounts the other horse, and at that moment, I lunged for the remote.
Parents watching Meet the Feebles style.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. I keep teasing it.
I lunged for the remote. Thankfully not knocking over anything, but in my mind, in my mind's eye, it was like flipping over the table and trying to just tear at the remote. At which point, I turned the movie off, tore it out of my PS3, threw it back in the case, and then buried it in the ET landfill. Unfortunately, because we needed to return
because
this,
it was a rental, we couldn't actually bury it.
destroy this.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I brought this. I exposed you all to this evil, and I didn't even have the strength to destroy it. I'm like Alan Moore in comic books. I tried so hard to kill them, but all I did was make them suffer in life support for the rest of time.
Yes, so he watched like how far did you say you got into?
Maybe 5 minutes.
But maybe 5 minutes of The Beast, and then he turned it off. I didn't want to watch it because I'm like, I don't want to watch.
He read the description.
I was
and
like,
he
I
was
don't want to
already
watch
like,
a full-on porn movie. I'm not ready for that.
I thought it was going. I thought it was just gonna be.
You thought it was gonna be more
softcore porn.
Yeah.
Like artsy porn.
Yeah.
You know. But
controversial rework.
Controversial rework.
Did we ever see Beauty or the Beast?
No.
Okay.
I got to.
I feel like you could make an edit of the scene in Brothers Grimm where he eats the girl and this beginning of this movie for the most cursed possible fucking like horse short. We've already descended into madness, and we haven't even talked about
oh my
it.
God.
I'm gonna go get us some water.
Yeah, Joe, check the.
Tell them about
yeah, okay.
Tell them about something.
Okay.
Talk about JoJo or something.
All right, so in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, there's two on the side.
Yeah, I found him, got him.
So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. How I would describe JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? It's basically Castlevania, but gayer. Not in a
The first two parts.
Oh, extremely. It's basically like they. It's them doing striking, fantastic poses that defy human anatomy, and it's beautiful. I love it. I love it so much.
All right. So
from part 3 onwards, it stops being Castlevania but gayer, and like I guess I don't know. Disney's Aladdin but gayer. That's the closest example I can.
How?
Because Aladdin. Because when you think about it, what is the genie but Aladdin's stand?
Oh God. Except he's a stand that anyone. We're not discussing genie.
It's an automatic stand. Oh. It's the lamp stand.
Yeah.
It's an automatic stand.
Like the sword, Anubis. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the 3 big hitters for today's Fear podcast.
All right, I think we'll start with the worst.
We'll start with the most boring one.
The most boring
one.
The
Adventures. I'm gonna walk up here and the Adventures of Captain Marvel. Look at this boring Marvel man. You can't see him at all.
Hang on, open it up.
This is boring. You're holding it way too high.
Gasp in awe at this man with like zero
Look at
muscular.
This man, Captain Marvel.
This is supposed to be our big intimidating, Herculean superhero.
All they're seeing is like his chest. Let's stop holding this in front of me. Okay. So there are 12 episodes. I'm gonna take the disc out and read the episode titles. I can't see anything. Episode.
Oh, there we go.
Gamer flashlight. My phone will shake it and then the flashlight turns on. And I've just blinded the audience and ruined the camera's focus. I'm sorry.
Perfect. Yeah.
Chapter 1, Curse of the Scorpion. Chapter 2, The Guillotine. Chapter 3, Time Bomb. And then we jump to Chapter 9 because we were bored. Dead Man's Trap. And then we jump to Chapter 12, Captain Marvel's Secret.
We thought in Chapter 9 was when the secret was going to be revealed.
Okay, so we'll explain it in it.
Okay,
if you think the names of chapters 1, 2, and 3 sound interesting, you are wrong. It's not interesting.
This is basically like
it's a 1941 TV show.
But even by
those standards, it's really dull.
This is like the definition of dated badly and gets worse over time.
So we'll talk about the first episode
So the first episode is the origin story.
Yes, the origin story.
It's the longest episode at 30 minutes.
Yeah, all the others are 15. To give you context, we were only able to sit through an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's how much we watched, and we're
like, this is so boring.
We skipped like half the episodes, and I don't think we missed anything.
It's apparently 216 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know who would have the patience or desire to watch all of it.
Well, and they released weekly. That's the worst thing. Okay, so first episode, origin story. He's not Captain Marvel yet. He's Billy Batson.
He's Billy Batson. G. Willikers, I'm Billy Batson here.
Oh, yes, I'd like to also mention that it immediately just starts out being like, 1940s style racist, because we're in the middle of some Middle Eastern country. I don't think they ever specify.
Egypt, question mark?
Egypt, question mark, and everyone is white. Every actor.
Everyone is white, even the characters that aren't white.
And they repeatedly bring up, like, the curse of no white men are allowed to come here.
No white man may enter the sacred valley.
Wearing a turban is just like, no white men may enter the sacred valley, doing
There's
like a bad
literally
accent.
a character called Whitey.
Yes, there is. There's a character called Whitey. Billy's best friend, question mark, is Whitey. So the first episode, it may be 30 minutes long, but like nothing fucking happens.
What happens is they find this mystical scorpion thing
it's a projector.
It's a projector.
It's a projector they decorated to look like a scorpion.
It can turn things either into gold or blow them up. Don't tell me how you get between one and the other.
Yeah, you like line up the lenses of them or something? I don't know.
And then, oh my god, this was the best part.
Line up the projector lens.
So the white men, the actual white men, not the non-white men, the non-white white men, they get this scorpion and they're like, this is too powerful, we need to split it up. And so they split up the lenses between themselves. But then our secret cartoon villain,
oh my god,
the Scorpion,
I'm pulling up a picture of him right
shows
now. I'm gonna try to find a picture of
Captain Marvel, the Scorpion.
Adventures of Captain Marvel. Just to show you, so this guy's the main villain. And they hold a mystery through all 12 episodes of who is under the costume. This costume is so bad that when I saw the character the first time, I thought it was a random goon.
I didn't
realize it was.
You thought it was a random goon
bad
of
guy.
the main villain.
Yes.
And this mystery of who it is so poorly conveyed that by the time the big reveals happens, not only did we not care, we didn't even know who it was supposed to be.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. I found it.
Perfect. Show them.
Let me make sure. Now, okay, as bad as that looks, you're like, surely it's literally just like a
it's a
$2 costume store like
it's a ghost
robe.
It's a black ghost costume with
scorpion on the head
stitched onto it.
It looks so bad, and he's like the main antagonist. And every time he'd come on, I would just start fucking like laughing.
Now let's be fair here. While Scorpion's costume is bad,
Captain Marvel's
isn't
that
great
bad.
either.
It's
okay.
not good.
It's okay for the time.
But yeah, for the time.
But like it's a pair of like it's like a pair of like, I guess, a full body tights from what it looked like.
Yes.
And then on top of it is like this Captain Marvel jacket.
Yeah. But like,
it does such a bad job of conveying his size and strength.
That's the other thing.
That every time we saw the actor try to do something that looked big and impressive, we just burst out laughing because it looked like he was struggling to lift these barely props.
So midway through the first episode, we have the scene where Billy Batson. If you've seen the movie Shazam,
you know what we're talking about.
It's the wizard guy, except of course he's white.
He's white.
But he meets the wizard guy in the tomb, and the wizard guy gives him powers, and he goes, Shazam! And then he transforms, which every time he transforms, they have this explosion effect, which at first I thought was just a bad effect, but then you realize it actually happens in universe, which makes it so much funnier.
It's hilarious. Every time this explosion is happening,
Shazam, there's just...
It's a tiny little explosion.
They use it to do the cuts, but it's just like, it's so goofy looking.
It's so obvious what they're trying to do.
So they have a different actor playing Billy Batson, Captain Marvel. Makes sense. Billy Batson is not a child, by the way.
He's like young adult.
Yeah,
he's our age.
He's a soldier with this expedition group, or I think maybe he's just explorer. I don't know.
Who knows?
The way he talks is the most like
he sounds like he's
Willikers, guys.
He's trying to sound younger than he is.
The second he spoke his first line of dialogue, I was like, that's the main character. Yeah. I was like, you just knew. He has the most, like, stock protagonist voice of something.
Golly gee willikers, boss!
Golly gee willikers, I'm a Shazamo!
Oh no, boss, I think we just violated the Geneva Convention!
Okay, So
I don't think we need to give a breakdown of every single episode.
You're right. We don't need to give a breakdown of every single episode.
So,
I do want to talk about the guillotine and how much it fails as a guillotine.
So, the guillotine episode, there is this...
Well, okay, before we talk about that, we have to talk about what makes the show the most painful, for me anyway, was the fact that it has... The editing's really bad, but also it's just like it's serialization at its worst. So every episode was like weekly back when it came out. So every episode, the plot is at the beginning. Yes, the beginning and end.
The plot of the actual episode begins at the end of the episode, and then right as when it gets exciting, it cuts away.
Next week,
and then
the Adventures of Captain Marvel. And
then next week, the plot of the last episode resolves itself in like the first 5 minutes.
And then the rest of the episode is like boring filler. And until you get to the end where something exciting happens, and then that exciting thing gets cut off by the next week.
You would think that this is like, oh, it's a dramatic cliffhanger. What's going to happen next? No.
Because
it doesn't.
It's stupid.
It's stupid, and like the resolution is so bad, and it happens every single time that you never care to actually about what happens next week.
The time bomb in episode 3. The cool title, Time Bomb, it's literally just a bomb that they put into the clock of Billy Batson's plane. And the plane, I said it before the episode, and I'm like, the plane's going to blow up, and then they're going to say next week on Captain Marvel.
And then the next week, he's going to fly away.
Yeah, and he's going to jump out the window and fly away. That's exactly what happened.
And he's going to do that terrible effect that they have.
They have the same effect. He doesn't fly, he glides in the superhero pose.
Here's how it works. He has an initial jump that was clearly a real jump because you see him going downwards in an arc afterwards. Then they cut away to a model that's obviously on a string, but because of either their low budget or where they filmed, they don't have the technology to make it look like it's actually flying. So it's always going on a downward slant, making it look like it's gliding. And then the next shot will cut to the actual actor jumping at whatever he's supposed to be flying at.
The first time they use it, he jumps off a cliff and glides into a dude.
It makes it look like he couldn't. It makes it look like he couldn't even fly.
He also, in the first episode, he breaks a gun on his knee, and
Yeah, you're still good.
How many minutes?
3 minutes.
What?
3 minutes left on this.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. He breaks the gun on his knee, and it doesn't...
It doesn't break!
And he has to, like, take it, and, like, just kind of... They have, like, a cut.
They have to.
They like cut the shot, and then he throws it to the side. The actor playing Captain Marvel is not strong, and they barely have him talk. So it's like, okay, you're not going to have him talk. Just hire a bodybuilder or something.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to do that many hire like a physically intimidating looking stuntman.
He's
not that attractive looking.
No, he's not slightly.
He's not a great actor.
No.
He has. I think the most lines he has is in the final episode.
So he does like a monologue.
He does a monologue, and it's like maybe a minute long.
Yeah. And then, that's part of the reason the cliffhangers don't work is that every like cool thing that they name the episode after for the cliffhanger
happens at the end of the episode and is
so horribly stupid. Like the bomb. Or the guillotine.
The guillotine.
That's episode 2, the guillotine. Describe this guillotine.
So, there's this guillotine. I'm going to use this term
They kidnap a guy and threaten him with it.
Yeah. They kidnap this guy who already had the guillotine for some reason in his office.
No, that's the bad guy's lair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the bad guy's lair. It's not easy to tell. And they
blackmail
him with this threatening guillotine. This guillotine is the world's slowest conveyor belt. With that somehow, like when you enter it gives you like an electric shock. But it doesn't look it looks like a spark effect.
Yeah.
And it's the world's slowest treadmill leading to a guillotine that
like a guillotine knife that just drops down.
It doesn't look like it even has enough height to actually do enough.
It's also clearly not made of metal.
Yeah.
They disguise it because the show's in black and white, so you can't fully tell that it's not made of metal, but it's not made of metal.
This would be a more effective trap if you just made a literal guillotine.
The conveyor belt would. Okay, so where the camera is right now and where I am, that's about the distance between the guillotine and the entrance, or maybe even a little more.
And it's not
it
even
moves at like a.
It's a snail pace.
Like this.
And it's not even. It doesn't even cover.
It doesn't even cover the whole width of the little
There's
hallway
like
that it's in.
There's like
so
a
you
little,
would just get to the side and like snake.
So it's a terrible guillotine. It's a guillotine that's clearly not made of metal, with like not enough height to actually cut someone's head off. It's got a treadmill
leading up
that
to it.
moves at a snail pace that goes about to.
Yeah, it is. It's not a conveyor belt. It's a treadmill at bottom.
It goes
setting.
to about yay far, with.
It's like a treadmill at bottom setting. There's little inchways on the side where you could totally just walk up.
It's the worst trap.
It's the worst trap death machine I've ever seen, and there's no real reason for it to not be an actual guillotine.
Yeah, or
something,
or just have it be like moving faster, so it looks like it's
so bad. And
the resolution to this is Captain Marvel gets knocked out by the electricity.
Well, no, wait. Okay, so
we need to break that scene down.
Yeah, because they're leading the guy they've kidnapped into the thing. They haven't tied him up or anything. They could literally just turn around and like walk the other fucking way.
They haven't immobilized him in any way.
No.
So Captain Marvel, he's trying to bust in.
He goes through the window in the most awkward
It looks
he
like
breaks through the window and then awkwardly has to like pry the fake bars out of the way.
It looks like what would happen if someone was actually trying to break into a barred window.
Yeah.
Not like a
superhero busting through, because the actor's just not strong.
And the prop was probably too strong for him.
Strong, yeah, and they didn't want to do another take.
Oh.
So he comes in the window, he tanks several bullets, and then one of the bad guys whacks him with a chair. And
a
wooden chair, and that chair has enough force to knock him into the conveyor belt
where he gets knocked out,
gets shocked. Knocked out.
Even despite the fact that he has a lightning bolt on his chest, which you would assume.
And despite the fact that he just tanked several bullets, somehow the chair doesn't just break upon impact.
Also, I want to briefly mention, this has nothing to do with the actual guillotine part, but he's clearly got a stain on his shirt.
He has a stain on his shirt in that scene. I was joking, like the actor was eating. He guy's like, I got mustard on my shirt. Oh, it's black and white. Nobody will know.
No one will care, even though it's so obviously a different color from everything else.
So
the episode ends with the guillotine dropping like,
on
what's gonna happen to him
next week? They come back next week. We get to watch that whole terrible scene again because we'll play the scenes as recap.
Yeah,
and then the guillotine hits him, and the guillotine breaks. So his body was able to break a metal guillotine, but not a wooden chair that he was hit with like a minute ago.
Oh, fuck this.
The internal logic of one scene is not consistent.
And then the time bomb, there's nothing really special about that.
Yeah, after that we watched through one more episode. We watched the beginning of the 4th episode to see how he got out of the airplane. Surprise, he jumped out the window.
And then we
flew away.
And then we jumped ahead.
And then we jumped ahead to episode 9, and the reason for that...
We thought that was going to be the episode where the Scorpion's secret identity gets revealed.
So I didn't even realize they were teasing a mystery until you started talking about how you were like, it's obvious. The
it's
Scorpion
so obvious.
is obviously the one non-white dude...
In the main group.
So we were like, okay, it's obvious. How long are they going to take to reveal this? So
especially because you see in earlier scenes that non-white dude is talking to the other non-white dudes. That they are not friendly with.
So we skipped to episode 9, chapter 9, they call it, because this is, and there's little, like, scene descriptions for each chapter on the box. So we went to chapter 9 because scene 3 of chapter 9 was titled "The Scorpion Revealed?" ? So at this point we were like sick of this. So we
were so tired.
So we went to, and this was after watching like an hour, because the parts we're describing that are funny are like tiny bits. Everything else is just...
They are 5 minutes max.
Horrible filler.
They are 5 minutes max.
There's like 5 minutes...
15 minutes of
filler.
There's
5 minutes max of action in every episode, and the rest is just like characters having dumb conversations that you...
Which I'm sure was exciting back in the 40s when you had 15 shows max on at a
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
TV was still revolutionary.
But even in that era of TV, this was probably a lesser show.
This
Not
was-
a horrible show.
This was
but-
probably a show where it's like, oh, Captain Marvel's on? Great, something to play in the background.
Yeah. So we jump to episode 9 to see the Scorpion revealed. He doesn't get revealed.
Well, no, he gets revealed to everyone but us.
To everyone but the audience.
Even though-
and Shazam.
He
Shazam
gets-
doesn't know.
The hood gets pulled off of his head.
The hood gets pulled off of his head because he's running away from Shazam, and the hood gets caught on a pole and gets pulled off.
At first, we thought it was a mistake
Well,
that
it's
they
like,
left
it
in.
literally looked like a mistake that they left in, and then we're just like,
They're like, fuck it, we're not
because
doing
the costume is so bad.
And we thought that was a mistake, but they're like, we don't want to do multiple takes, so that's just how we're going to reveal who the Scorpion is.
So then he goes back into the, somehow, I don't understand the layout of this location at all.
He's in like this... He's in
so-
like this room with secret passageways. He takes a right, another
Somehow
right.
he goes through the secret passageways back to the room, to the guy
the
that
main
he
entrance.
Yes, to the guy that he kidnapped, and then the guy that he kidnapped was like, "You're the Scorpion," and then he shoots him and he's dead, and it's like, oh god.
And he's on the phone at this time, so he could easily just say, Dr. Lang, you're the...
Okay,
and
but
then
it's not
gunshot.
Dr. Lane. It's
Yeah,
not Dr.
but
Lane.
yeah,
Dr.
it's
Lane
not-
is the one talking.
It's...
Apparently, Billy and Whitey thought Dr. Lang was the Scorpion according
He's
to
not.
the episode description.
He's
at the
not.
beginning.
He's some...
It's Dr. Lang is not the non-white guy,
He's just a random white dude in the group.
which is actually an interesting. Is that we're gonna spoil it.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for a
The non-white...
70-year-old TV show.
It's not the
80
non-white guy.
It's not the non-white guy. It's some random
Which is,
white
I
guy.
guess, somewhat progressive given the time it came out.
Yeah, I guess it's like a twist, except
But
I
it's-
have no idea who the actual guy was.
Even paying attention, even if you were paying attention, like, we don't really ever see, like, in the movie episodes we saw, we never really cut back to the other group.
Yeah.
It's mostly Billy, the girl,
Yes, the girl, the woman, her name
the
is Betty.
only woman,
Yeah, of course.
who we
And
called
she-
woman because they
she-
never gave her a name.
I will say, like, she was at, like, her characterization
Was-
wise, she was actually probably one of the smarter characters. Like,
She's
she
the
wasn't
smartest
just a
character.
Dumb blonde, but they put her in damsel in distress scenarios literally
Every single episode.
because it's the 1940s.
Yeah. And Whitey. Those are our three main characters.
Whitey is like a utterly useless character. but
Whitey
at
is
least-
basically what they could have, what the woman would have been
yeah.
if they didn't have that character.
Half the
be
time,
Whitey.
half the time she's in the damsel in distress scenarios. Whitey's in them with her, and
Yeah.
then Billy has to save them both.
It's
as-
pretty much heavily implied that Whitey is the one who's actually getting damseled.
That, yeah. What I feel like there's some gay energy with Whitey.
Big gay
I don't know if
energy.
Billy carries the same gay energy.
Well, he did carry him
That's
like
true.
a bride
You're right.
in his first
I think
rescue.
maybe Billy's
And
bi.
he was soaking wet.
I think Billy's bi. Whitey's just straight up gay, and then the woman is.
And the woman is like, I don't give a fuck. None
Yeah.
of you
The
really
woman
care
honestly
about my
seems too
opinion
good
because
for
it's the
everything.
1940s.
Yeah.
And I like how, like, from what we could tell, it doesn't really seem like it's implied that she ends up with Billy at the end.
No, there's not much romantic. I mean, there's like.
Even from what we saw,
It's like
there's
the most
not really a
shallow
lot.
romantic chemistry.
It's romantic chemistry in the same way that, like, other movies where the hero gets the girl in the end, because that's what the studio said needed to happen, have romantic chemistry, even though that's clearly, obviously not what the writers originally intended.
By the way, the Scorpion twist is literally revealed Scooby-Doo style at the very end of the last episode. He pulls off the mask of the guy, and it's some random white dude with a mustache that all the white dudes look the same in this show, so
You could have told me it was anyone and I would have believed you.
Yeah. The one non-white dude, he was in cahoots with the rebel group that treated the Scorpion as a god, kind of, which doesn't really make any sense.
Because so
the Scorpion
terrible.
is this horrible guy in a fucking,
A Cobra outfit. It looks worse
it
than
looks worse
the
than
Cobra outfits.
You could get a better costume for $10 at Party City or something than his fucking Scorpion
If any of you are from Stars, it's worse
Stars
than
has better
outfit.
costumes. We get better costumes than Stars.
It's
It's so bad.
It's so
Nothing else in the show is quite that bad. That's why I kept coming back to it.
Well, because everything else in the show, like everyone else in the show, is just wearing normal clothes.
Yeah.
And the effects are like.
Well, I don't just mean costumes. I just mean nothing else is quite so cheap.
Yeah.
Like, even by 1940 standards, his costume is just incredibly
There
cheap.
is one scene in the final episode where Whitey and the woman are running away from the non-whites, and they drive off of a cliff in the most hilarious way possible. The car basically does a midair flip and then lands on the other side like a toy.
Ready? And they're gonna go over the cliff and... hang on, we're gonna jump! It's hard to see, but Whitey goes, hang on, we're gonna jump, and then the car literally just like they clearly did some sort of tape.
It was like on a string.
Yeah,
or
on a
something.
string. They just jumps over the gap. And we were just laughing, we rewinded it. That's the funniest scene, probably.
Anyway, let's see, where is it? You guys probably weren't gonna watch this movie. But don't watch this movie. Don't. It's not good. It's not funny bad. It's not so bad it's good. It's not entertaining. It's the worst kind of bad you can be, in my opinion. And that's boringly bad.
Yeah.
It is
12 episodes.
It is painfully,
and one episode felt.
It is
so
painfully mediocre.
Yes.
But Coleman, I don't know what we were gonna do. Coleman, would you
something about exorcising demons?
This
movie's too boring to exercise.
This movie deserves to burn in hell because we don't feel like exercising its demons.
Yeah. Do we need more light in here? Hold on. I'm gonna turn on this light and see if it. Sit down. Yeah. Okay. Let's do light for the rest of it because that looks fine. It's getting darker as we record this. So. How many minutes have I recorded of the... Okay, we're at 12 minutes, okay.
Alright, we got... So,
okay.
So, last 30 minutes, I guess, will be just meet the Feebles.
Yeah, probably.
So...
Meet the Feebles.
In contrast to The Adventures of Captain Marvel, we have Rug Cop.
The Rug Cop.
Like we told you earlier, it's the movie with the cop who uses their hair.
Yes, it's a Japanese satire of, cop.
It's a Japanese comedy that satirizes cop shows.
So there's the main guy is Detective Rug.
He's often partnered up with his trusted sidekick, Detective Big Dick.
Detective Big Dick.
And their other sidekick, Tonko.
Tonka, that's the woman. She's the only one without a weird code name.
Which works because we need a straight man to be fair.
She is probably the most normal one.
And then we also have Detective Handsome.
We have other
Detective Fatso and Detective Shorty.
He can hurt people with his sweat.
And Detective Shorty, who's basically just Koichi. They're all basically characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
JoJo comparisons, particularly Part 4 characters. Rug and Big Dick are just Josuke and Okuyasu running around.
Detective Handsome is basically just JoJo.
There's even a
the
scene
police chief is basically just
Joseph. Kind of.
Like Joseph, but if he was more sane in Part 4.
Yeah. It's just okay. So I think the reason we kept comparing it to JoJo mentally is the fact that they all have gimmick powers, and also just
it's got that
comedy.
It's got that same sense of being very serious, but completely absurd in its seriousness.
Yes.
This literally will have scenes where they have to get Detective Big Dick aroused in order to use his lightsaber-like penis
so let's
save the day. And they'll play it completely straight.
Let me explain the powers.
So not completely straight, but the characters in universe will take the situation completely serious.
So Detective Rug has a wig that is basically sentient.
It was an experiment to
they reveal this in the third act of the movie
because he's bald, and that's a big plot point.
There's a big plot point about his girlfriend leaving him because he was bald.
And that girlfriend went on to create.
Well, let's not. We can spoil it.
I feel because we are going to be spoiling it.
Yeah.
So
I kind of want to talk about it
organically. Fair enough. Yeah. His girlfriend leaves him because he's bald.
This is like in the past. This is why he's like the grizzled, like doesn't like
the grizzled take no shits cop.
Yeah, except he's not that grizzled.
He's not
because it's like
he's actually very like kind of sweet and sympathetic.
Yeah.
He's like I understand your pain because I too was once a bald man.
Yeah, because one of the first crimes they investigate is this crazy guy like
who got rejected because he was bald.
Was that why?
Well,
that was part of it.
It was because he fell in love with a hostess.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, hostesses are basically just like they're
not a prostitute exactly.
It's their job to make Japanese men feel happy and loved.
Yes. So he's
which is kind of disturbing, but
right, of course.
That's another
that's another thing. But so so he throws his hair at people. The opening scene is him going into a hostage situation where the guy holding people hostage is a puppet, and the puppeteer is like terrified. He's like, it's not me, it's the puppet, and then the puppet points the gun at
and he's like,
the puppeteer.
Take one step forward and I'll shoot. So
he throws his wig, and it does like this goofy shot where it's just like the wig moving.
It knocks the puppet's head off, and I was praying that the puppet's body would shoot out like a fountain of blood, as if it was actually alive.
That would have been sick.
But that hasn't happened. But it's still an absolutely hilarious, over the top scene.
So then after that he gets recruited to the police station. He meets the different partners.
He meets all the detectives we told you about.
Big Dick is the most prevalent one, and his gimmick is he gets horny and then his dick like turns into like a lightsaber effect basically.
And this could be a very bad joke.
Yeah, when they used it the first time, I'm like, oh god, is it gonna be this kind of satire movie?
Where it's like the guy's constantly horny and they make that the joke is like, oh he's incorrigible. But no, they actually they use it like an actual joke. Yeah. It's like he's a normal guy.
He's a very normal, likable, not very pervy character.
It's just that whenever he gets horny, he gets a lightsaber penis.
And he uses it to like fight in the end of the movie. I think the climax of the movie is where it really fits together. For the first 30 minutes, it was enjoyable, but it kind of felt like the pilot to a TV show.
Yeah,
it's just sort of like we're establishing things, and we haven't quite found the strength of it yet. And then even after like 30 minutes, they have the weird song section that's almost like a recap of what happened before. Yeah. That feels like a weird like we're going to commercial break thing because it's a parody. That goes on for a little too long. And it's at that point in the movie, I'm like, wait, we're 30 minutes in, and the main plot hasn't really started yet. This movie's only like 80 minutes long, so we were like more than a third of the way through.
And there's like this song sequence that goes on it's got good jokes in it, but it goes on a bit too long.
I stopped paying attention to it.
That's like the weakest part of the movie because it's
like a theme song kind of thing.
But then we get to the second act where we get the main conflict introduced of the group trying to stop this extremist eco-terrorist group who are threatening to blow up Tokyo with a nuclear bomb unless they rig a horse race in their favor.
Honestly, it was a little bit. The villain's plotline, I barely followed.
You're not really supposed to.
I don't think you're supposed to. It's kind of nonsensical.
You're supposed to just enjoy how absurd it is, I think.
And especially when we get to the third act where they're sneaking into the bad guy's base, video game style. It's very it's Ocarina of Time dodging the guards thing.
It's literally like there's a scene where he'll turn around and they quickly
dive behind something
and then he'll take a step and be like
look around.
I thought I heard a noise, and then he'll go back to his pre-programmed plot.
And that was that fun scene happens. They just kind of get caught. Though. Yeah, that kind of happens.
Yeah, and then we get to the big twist.
If you're interested in this movie,
so earlier in the movie
fast forward to
movie earlier.
Timestamp. I'll put it in the description.
Put it in the Discord.
In the description, I think I'm gonna put timestamps for when we start talking about each movie. So
So earlier in the movie, they go to
This is the one movie that I am like, okay.
I don't want people to.
This is the one movie we watched that I would like people to actually watch, and so I'm not.
This movie, we're going to baptize we are going to present
Yes.
to the Lord, and we're going to, it's going to be accepted.
Yes.
With
It's
the
the film heaven.
Film heaven.
The eyes of heaven.
We've got a movie that later on we're going to exercise.
Oh God, yeah.
But
the most
we'll get to there.
fear-inducing movie.
Fear.
Fear.
That's why we
part
call
of the
this...
name. Part of the reason we named the podcast this is so we could just say fear every time something horrible happened in one of these movies.
But anyway, yeah. So the big twist reveal is that earlier in the movie we meet this schoolgirl who was like the student of one of the extremists,
And also,
who is who
she's the
turns
daughter
out
of the woman who left Detective Rugg.
And later on, we find out that she is actually the leader of the extremist group, which adds to the comedy of
She's like this
schoolgirl
like
who wants to be. She literally says she wants to become the world's most dangerous schoolgirl.
No, that's not the exact quote. I have it on my. Hold on. What is? I don't think that's the exact quote.
Let me look it up.
I'll pull it up. It's very strong Danganronpa energy.
And this is basically what would happen if JoJo's meets Danganronpa.
Yes, I'm determined to become the most notorious high school girl. That's the line. And she's like
and it's revealed that she's actually Rugg Cop's daughter because his ex-girlfriend was pregnant with her when she left and married someone else. And all this time,
and
the wife talked about how she regretted leaving Rugg Cop because he was such a nice and caring guy.
Yeah.
Despite his
She
looks.
also died.
She also died.
In alcohol.
Died in alcohol. But then it gets revealed later. No, wait, no, that's a joke. That's a really funny joke told by Big Dick.
Yes, Big Dick.
Big Dick tells the
Big
best
Dick
joke
goes into this big monologue
about how her mother loved her. About how the mother loved the schoolgirl.
Everybody's like, how did you know this?
And he's like, I didn't. I just thought I just wanted to
made it up. I just always wanted to do a big monologue thing. That's.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah, we're fine.
9 minutes. Yeah.
That's. We'll finish talking about this one, and then I'll cut, and we can start talking about the next horrifying movie.
Yeah, we're pretty close to wrapping up on this.
Yes,
I feel.
yeah.
It's hard to say.
I agree. It's hard to say because I feel like we could be talking about Meet the Feebles for half an hour.
We could be talking about Meet the Feebles for an entire podcast.
Oh god, yeah. The whole episode could just be Meet the Feebles if we wanted it to be.
I think we're going to title this podcast "Mucking Fuppets."
It's not god. Okay.
And then I'll make a bad Photoshop that you can use for the thumbnail.
Oh no. Okay, because I already have a thumbnail.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, So that leads into a big battle where the female cop shows up.
She shows up, and then Big Dick's like,
I
need you horny so I can break out of.
Well, no, Rugg Cop is the one that comes up with that.
That's right.
Rugg Cop is like, Tonko, quick, give us a peek up your skirt so that Big Dick can get horny. And she's like, I'm not gonna do that. And then she gets in a kicking fight.
Well, they kind of are arguing about it, and then the bad guys notice she's there, and then it turns into a fight scene. And the fight scene is what makes him horny. So then he's able to break them out of because they're tied up. And
then there's a big fight that ensues, and then they have to disarm the nuclear bomb.
And they get the girl who's the mastermind to help disarm it. And she's basically just like, you beat me, I love you, Dad.
And she cuts the right wire, even though she cuts the opposite wire of what her father told her to, even though it was the right wire to cut.
I guess I'm just being
out of pure spite because her dad told her to cut the red wire, but she's like, I'm not gonna do that, like baka.
I actually really like her character.
She's actually a pretty good character.
And I also think it's the actress's performance, because on paper it's like, okay, she's the high school girl that's the mastermind. That's been done before.
Yeah.
Danganronpa, for example. But the performance of the actress who plays this young girl, she has this very childlike energy while also being this master schemer that makes it a really fun. That's where the movie goes from good to great, in my opinion. They introduce the plot.
This is legitimate. This isn't even an ironically good movie. This is just a genuinely great comedy.
Yeah.
And part of what helps is that it's not too long. It's 76 minutes.
Yeah.
It does not overstay its welcome.
It doesn't. The jokes don't.
Like we said, the longest joke the longest joke that doesn't
the
really
song thing
is
in
the
the
song, which doesn't
that's the only
punch.
thing that runs too long.
Yeah.
Now-
Everything else is at the perfect length.
Now, we have the reverse of that, the thing that runs way too long.
The movie that runs way too long, has no funny jokes in it until like the last third.
Well, I'm gonna cut it, and we're gonna collect our energy, take a deep breath, drink some water before we talk about Meet the Feebles, directed by Peter Jackson.
A Peter Jackson film.
Yes, Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson. Hello. Yes, we've collected our thoughts, and now it's time to talk about the worst, most fear-inducing movie in our lineup today. Well,
one of the worst movies I've ever
Beast
seen.
Is probably more fear. We watched all the way through Meet the Feebles, directed by, once again, we have to reiterate, Peter
Jackson. Here, I'm going to...
A Peter Jackson film.
Read that. This is proudly presented as a Peter Jackson film.
I don't know how proud he is of this film.
I don't think he's proud of this at all, considering he did not mean for this to be a film. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
I think before we should actually get into this movie, we should talk about what this movie was supposed to be.
Which was... I read up on this when the movie was getting its most boring. So during like the Vietnam War flashback
in between, right before the start of the third act.
I'm sorry. No, it was a little earlier. We were like halfway through, and I was like, please God, let it end. And I went on my phone and like started looking up some info about the movie. So it was originally made. This was Peter Jackson's second movie, 1989.
This was
his first one. Was basically a film with his buddies.
It's basically Mars, and it's like basically Mars Attacks or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's Mars Attacks, but with puppets.
Yeah. They were like alien puppets, I think, or something. This one is...
And that was a student film. This was supposed to be a student film that got like...
Well, no. It was supposed to be...
Like a
what
TV
they originally
spot or
made it as was like, like a TV short. About 30 minutes.
Which, to be fair...
If it was only 30 minutes long in the original vision, it could have been passable.
I wouldn't say that it would have worked, but I would have said I could understand its cult appeal.
Yeah.
If it had been a 30-minute short.
But according to the Wikipedia, after excited investment from Japanese audiences or something like that, of course it's the Japanese. Insert Joseph. I'll never forgive the Japanese.
This is not reflective of our actual.
No,
If it's not obvious, me and him are mouth
massive. Look at all the weeb stuff.
Look at the weeb shit. Yes. Look at it.
Yes,
but anyway, apparently Japanese investors love this movie so much they decided to turn this into an actual
full-length movie. It's how long is it?
It's 96 minutes, and it feels longer than his 3-hour movies.
Yeah. I realized there's basically no Peter Jackson DNA in this film.
There's nothing.
From Lord of the Rings.
You can watch this movie and you will find nothing. You might find some stuff from his early work.
Yeah.
But you will not find
anything
from his current work.
The only similarity is that it's too long
it's either too long or feels too long.
Yes. And it went over budget. That's the one Peter Jackson consistency. His movies always go over budget because he doesn't know how to trim them down.
Now, you are not a huge fan of Peter Jackson.
I'm not a huge fan of... He's more...
I like the 3 Lord of the Rings movies that he made, so I do consider myself...
But he also made The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Which is another...
But then again, those were never meant to be Peter Jackson movies, they just became Peter Jackson movies.
Well, okay, what I'm saying is here, Lord of the Rings is probably the one thing he's done that justifies the length that he gives it.
Because it's based on 3 massive books.
Yes.
And that's also probably the best example of what he's good at.
Yeah.
He is not an artist. I know that sounds weird. He's not an artist. He is probably the best example of a technical director. Because his technical skills are very, very good. But his actual sort of unique spin and his unique personality... His vision is very...
It's either bland or horrifying.
It's bland or horrifying. And based on this is hilarious. Based on what we can find on the IMDb stuff, this is like one of his better regarded movies.
It has a 71 on Rotten Tomatoes.
This is better reviewed than a movie he made called Lovely Bones, which has got a 28. This is better than Mortal Instruments or whatever.
Yeah.
Which got like a 5 or something.
Yeah.
This
Honestly,
is, I don't care how bad those movies might be. This is the worst thing he's ever made.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I can't imagine anything else he's made.
Even if his other stuff was similar to this, he had to have learned by his mistakes from making this movie that this this has to be the worst. Okay.
It's so stretched.
There are
biggest
two main characters in this movie. One of whom
was clearly in the original vision for the movie, and one was clearly written in to appeal to mainstream audiences, so they can have some character to latch onto that is likable and not insane.
Our technical main lead is this porcupine fucker that I don't even remember the name of.
Yeah, that's right, he is a porcupine. I was calling him a hedgehog the whole time.
True main character, the one who is clearly meant to be the main character, is Miss Heidi.
The hippo with the big boobs on the front of the case.
We'll get to that.
She's basically Miss Piggy.
She's Miss Piggy if Miss Piggy was like a down on her luck,
more overtly sexual.
More overtly sexual and on the verge of retirement, basically.
Yes. There's no clear Kermit comparison.
There's not.
We thought it was going to be the bunny character,
but it's not.
But it's not. He has a whole separate subplot about getting an STD or something. There's some characters that are somewhat similar to like Muppets, but only vaguely. Yeah. The only clear direct this is inspired by Muppets character is the main character is clearly a Miss Piggy.
Oh my god. I don't even.
Okay, I never read the back of the box. What does it say?
Meet the Feebles, a lovable group of puppets.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is probably meant to be.
It's probably meant to be.
A group with their own weekly TV show, prepared to be shocked. Live.
Oh, give me.
What the fuck?
Give me this. There's like a watermark on this box. Meet the Feebles, a lovely group of puppets with their own weekly TV show, prepared to be shocked.
Oh, that's
okay. The first sentence of the description makes no grammatical sense, which is already great.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, thank you for checking, because there is battery.
Life backstage for these, we got this at 6 minutes.
Battery, yeah. But there's also battery concerns if the battery dies.
Life backstage for these furry fellas, ain't all cute. One-liners.
Why did you just say anal cute? Give me the box.
This movie has bad grammar.
It ain't. We're not reading the back of this box.
No, I am going to read the quotes. I'm going to read
the quotes. Yes, the critic positive quote.
These are supposed to be the quotes that sell you on this movie.
Read them.
So tasteless, it scrapes genius.
It scrapes genius.
That means that it didn't reach genius. It slashed a piece of it off of genius.
And then ate it like the fly puppet in the movie eats shit halfway through.
Yeah, literal shit.
He's literally in the toilet eating shit.
With like a fork.
This is one of many scenes which made us yell, fear, fear, fear.
There are several scenes in this movie.
Practically every scene.
Pretty much every scene ends with us yelling fear.
Because they're just all like...
Especially the Miss Heidi sex scene.
Oh... It's not a sex scene though. She doesn't have sex.
Well, she does get naked.
Her clothes.
Which is, if that's not a clear indication of what type of movie this is.
I hate talking about this movie.
This movie, blah 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 blah.
Right?
Fuck this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Disgusting, vile, and outrageous, and we mean that lovingly.
That's my favorite. Both of those, you could take out the last bit and they'd just be like our actual thoughts on the movie. This is
one of the grossest movies I've ever seen, and it has nothing to justify it.
And to be clear, we have no problem with raunchy comedy or
I have no problem with
raunchy
comedy. I have no problem with puppets or
the problem is that it's just not written.
I don't have a problem with even gross out. Like, it's not my thing, but I understand why it exists, and I understand that.
And all of these elements are in this movie, but they're done poorly.
They're done so bad.
For the most part.
We'll get to that.
We'll get into what kind of works.
This movie is
from a technical level, the set design, the puppetry, sometimes
the design of the puppets is good. The actual puppetry themselves is not.
What you said about Peter Jackson being a technical director, that stuff is good. The shot composition and basic filmmaking
while the actual camera quality seems to be kind of poor, the actual shot composition is pretty good.
Yes, it's just the writing and the characters. And
Jesus Christ, the writing.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, the career.
There's so many horrible,
I don't even
unnecessary,
know what I don't even
dumb, painful scenes.
don't
There's an Vietnam flashback
There's a
that
fucking
goes on for like 10 minutes.
In 1989,
With horribly racist Vietnamese stereotype rat puppets.
and like a complete ripoff of a scene from a much better movie called The Deer Hunter.
I haven't seen this movie. I wasn't paying attention
I've
during
barely
that scene
seen
at
it,
all.
but it's a scene where they're playing Russian roulette,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
and one of the dogs.
This was when I was Googling the movie because I'm like...
Because we're like, there's no way this was ever an actual movie, right?
I turned to him and I'm like, can we fast forward through this Vietnam section? He's like, no, we have to see it as Peter Jackson intended.
Because I have this thing that I had
Oeuvre.
I bought
Oeuvre?
Oeuvre. I rented this DVD because I have the assumption that, like, I'm not a huge fan of art tourism.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like the best example, if you want to get a creator's true, unbridled vision, you don't look at their good stuff.
Like, what are the...
You look at their bad stuff
Read the Feebles.
or their forgotten stuff.
And this applies to both.
Yeah, this is terrible and it's forgotten, and it's a good thing that it's been forgotten.
Yes, because it's
just saying disgusting is
it
not
doesn't
bad.
begin.
There's
okay.
a scene where
So
a
the
fly eats shit. There's
Yes.
a scene where a rabbit fucks two other rabbits and then gets herpes.
Yeah, let's go over the subplots.
There's
Because I feel like that would be the best description. The subplots.
There's 3 main plots and then like 5 different subplots.
Are there
The
3
main
plots?
like there's the walrus main plot, the piggy main plot,
Okay. Oh yes.
and
Okay.
the porcupine main
Yes.
plot. The porcupine is trying to make it big, so he comes
Yes,
to
he's-
comes to the Feebles
He's just
variety
been
hour.
hired at the Feebles. He has this. He's like a cute character. He's
He's the stand-in for the everyman, which
Yes.
is kind of detestable, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, because of what they do with his plot.
So he's trying to make a name for himself. He's kind of being an ass as a result of it.
Yeah.
And he ends up
but he's not as much.
he
of
ends
a
up getting
giant.
a girlfriend. This girlfriend ends up getting almost sexually assaulted and almost raped by a rat puppet.
And
The porcupine.
the porcupine walks
sees
in
this,
at the end of this and thinks that
she was instigating it, and that she's loose, accuses her of being a slut, and then leaves. And then he gets assigned to be the dummy in a knife throwing event.
Okay, but
That leads into another
this
subplot.
is the third act of the movie, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, I just want to say I want to get all the plot lines
Yes.
through until the end, because the end is the only.
The end is
thing
the
in this
only part
movie.
that somewhat works. The Feebles, my camera just ran out of battery.
So we'll check where it left off. So I'm gonna recap.
Just recap the plot line about
the porcupine.
The porcupine.
Okay, so the porcupine is like our stand-in everyman. He's he's generally just a nice, sweet guy. He comes to the Feeble variety show to try and make a name for himself. He gets assigned a bit part, and then gets later upgraded into like a main act by being the victim in a knife throwing thing. That leads into stuff for the final act.
You say upgraded, but I'm pretty sure they only put him in that act because he pissed somebody else
Yeah,
off.
no, he gets upgraded.
Because the knife thrower guy this is a subplot, but the knife thrower guy has
a drug problem because he used to be he's the guy from
He's
the
the
Vietnam
guy having
flashback.
the Vietnam flashbacks.
Anyway, before
Which
that,
is
our main
the
character
biggest example to me of a subplot in that movie that just should not have been there.
It does
and I
nothing.
hate that it was there.
It does nothing,
adds
and
one
it's
time.
terrible. Before that, our main character gets a girlfriend who, but then the girlfriend gets sexually assaulted and almost raped by a rat puppet that was drugging her because he wants to try and turn her into a porn star.
Yeah.
And that's another subplot.
That's right. There's a subplot about him.
There's
filming
so many fucking
porn
subplots.
movies.
Oh my god.
That was the whole middle of the movie is just like disconnected scenes that
never coalesce.
Yeah.
Until the end.
Some of them coalesce at the end. Some of them are forgotten because
some of them are forgotten because they don't matter.
Yeah.
Like the rat porn stuff. That's pretty much completely gone.
It only so the hedgehog comes in, he mistakes the scenario for her instigating it.
And being a slut.
Which, to be fair, they've established that he's ignorant.
Stupid and ignorant enough to actually believe that, but Jesus Christ,
Now you're making the one likable character in the movie the rape denier, which which just makes it like, okay, well now I can't like him anymore until this subplot has been resolved, and even then we still kind of don't like him because he's a moron.
Yeah. So that kind of concludes the stuff until the final.
And it's like that whole part isn't. There's no humor to it. You can't even say it's trying to be risque.
It's trying to be genuine and sincere.
It's just insulting.
But it's terrible.
That part of the movie's actually insulting.
It's like this is, in my opinion, an insultingly bad movie, which is one of the worst types of movies because it's a movie that is painful to watch and offends you on either a personal, a spiritual,
I'm gonna zoom in just a little
disgust level. Just is.
There we go.
But
keep talking.
Like. That is the most insulting part.
Yeah.
And especially its resolution.
Yeah.
The
way they resolve it is so hastily done because it was clearly written in after the fact.
The character was the main character. The main character was clearly added to give the movie more structure and to give us somewhat of a likable character.
Yes.
Now. That is
his
plot. That is his plot done. The true main plot involves Heidi, the Miss Piggy character, and Belch, this walrus guy who is like her former boyfriend and now boss.
Well, they're still in
together.
a relationship at the start of the movie,
but it's very rocky.
The introducing scene of him is him having sex with someone else,
like a weasel or something.
Yeah, like a weasel, and then she hides, and then Miss Piggy comes in and
is like. I'm feeling so stressed.
Yeah.
She basically leaves.
She leaves the movie for like half an hour. Which is the Hedgehog also does.
Which is clearly an example of, okay, this was meant to set up the plot in the final scene, but we don't know how to build to that final scene
because we're just throwing in a bunch of random bullshit to pad the runtime.
So it's just it feels so padded. So she leaves. She ends up like having a flashback to better days where she's a singer in a nightclub. The walrus notices her.
The flashback's in black and white. They're trying to be artsy.
She looks more conventionally attractive now.
Oh, somewhat.
Sort of. She's still got
as much as a fucking hippo puppet with big.
Also, she's got noticeable nipples, and that is an important point later because we see. Oh my god. Fear. Fear.
There's so many fear-inducing scenes. So
she goes on an eating spree because she feels bad.
Yeah.
Then when she comes back, she runs to her boss being like, oh, the director was so mean to me because she put on weight. But then she walks in on her boss getting a blowjob from the weasel.
And then her life falls apart. And we'll get to that because that's the
that leads into our third act, which is the one good.
We're holding off on that because it's the one thing that is like.
Saving grace of this movie.
Where, like, if anything, it made us even more annoyed because we watched an hour of the movie and then it suddenly gets passable.
If it had just been atrocious from the beginning to the end, I could have been like, thank God this movie was lost to time, and this was clearly a mistake by an early director who didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
But the fact that it has good parts in it means that there is at least that you can't the fact that there's.
I'll never forgive the Japanese for investing into this movie and making it into a movie and not a 30-minute thing.
Yeah. And so rewind the clock. After
third main plot. I feel like this one's almost a subplot, but it's almost a little more prevalent.
It ties into like the big ending of the movie.
Yes, the climax.
So it's kind of important.
So the walrus.
The walrus is a sleazy boss. He's sleeping with other people. He's taking like money under the table, and later on he goes out golfing because he's trying to get drugs.
Making a drug deal. Is probably, I think overall, this is the most enjoyable.
Which is funny because it starts out as the least enjoyable.
Well, I don't know. Even in the early scenes where they're playing golf, it's at least so absurd. Those scenes are short enough, and the absurdity of these giant life-size puppets being out on a normal golf course makes those scenes enjoyable enough that I was like, they're pointless and stupid. But they're not making me physically want to vomit.
The only problem with those scenes is that they happen so early in the movie that you have no clue
You
where
have
they're
no
actually
idea
going.
what's going on. Yeah.
Well, if we rewatch this movie, which God forbid we would ever try to rewatch
I didn't even realize they were setting up a drug deal until like the third golf scene.
Well, yeah, because that's the golf scene where they show the guy with the cocaine.
Okay. Before that, it's completely unclear what's going on. It's just like, why are these characters playing golf? Who cares?
Yeah.
Move on.
So
those scenes are blissfully short.
Those scenes are spectacularly short.
Spectacularly short. There's no weird sex shit. That's what I mean about that plot line. Maybe that's why that plot line's the best, because there's no gross.
There's nothing gross to it. Well, there is a little bit of gross out, but like that's from an earlier scene that does nothing.
Yeah.
He eats a fish and then the barfs up.
Oh, I forgot about the fish. Why did you remind me of the fish?
Because that happens. That's the only gross thing that happens in it.
He eats a fish puppet that's trying to audition for the puppet vor. He eats the fish, and then later.
As if we don't have enough fetishes in this movie already. This movie is just. This movie, if you have someone who you think is a furry or a kid who you think is going to become a furry,
don't tell them to do that.
Show them this movie, and they will lose that fetish.
Deserve this. Even furries don't.
No, I'm saying show them this, and they will lose that fetish. This is basically gay conversion therapy for furries. This is terrible.
Fuck
this movie.
If anyone somehow finds that offensive, be assured this movie is much more offensive.
If this movie came out modern day, they would absolutely make a joke like that.
Yeah, you're right.
They would absolutely make a gay conversion therapy.
Yeah, there would absolutely be a gay conversion therapy scene if this was a modern movie. Oh god.
The drug plot point leads. He comes back. He's like trying to make the variety show into an actual TV show,
legitimate show, and it goes horribly wrong.
It goes horribly wrong.
That's the part of the movie that's kind of good.
First, he contacts the dealer. And he's like, "What the hell? None of my stuff is good." And so the guy's like, "Here's the good stuff." And then he feeds it to another, and then the boss feeds it to another worker. That worker died. This worker dies because it wasn't overdose. It was borax, not cocaine. And so the walrus then.
I don't remember. I was not paying attention for that part.
That was the turning point of the movie where it started getting good.
That was, but yes, that's right, because he's snorting it. And
so then the walrus tortures the dealer until he finds out where the real supply is.
That was the first scene of the movie where I'm like, this is a good scene.
I was like, yeah, this is a good scene.
This is like an hour in.
That I had
this
to
is
watch.
like an hour in.
Into this hour and 96 minute, an hour and 36 minute movie.
Hour and 96. That's 2.5 hours. Jesus Christ.
I could not handle this movie for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we barely got through 96 minutes as it is. So those are the three main plots. There's also several subplots. There's one about a bunny character.
That's probably the most important subplot.
Yeah, because
that subplot is what causes the show to start spiraling out of control.
Yeah, that's also one of the grossest subplots.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the bunny, he's having a gross sex scene with these female bunnies.
There's someone who walks. There's a character who's peeping.
It's the porcupine, isn't it?
No, not the porcupine. It's the guy. It's the guy who ends up snorting drugs.
Rat? Oh no, it's the crocodile.
Crocodile-looking fucker.
Yeah.
That guy's
He's the knife thrower.
That guy's part of the worst subplot because he ends up getting recruited by the rat.
Focus on one subplot.
Sorry.
Why do we even care?
Oh my god, we're already at 19. This fucking movie makes us go.
That says 10 minutes, and then plus whatever we recorded with the camera.
Yeah.
This movie induces rage.
This movie could be an entire. We could make an entire series of podcasts on the terribleness of this movie.
I don't know about a series, but we could definitely talk for an hour about this movie if we wanted to. Go over every excruciating, horrible detail.
Pick it apart like they pick apart that fly.
Oh god. So the rabbit has herpes.
And
the fly is like a reporter,
a paparazzi employer.
Yeah, paparazzi. So he's one of the grossest puppets because they went real hard on making him anatomically like a fly,
a giant fly.
He first encounters the rabbit because he's in a toilet eating shit out of the toilet
with like a fork and knife.
Ah.
And then later on, we find out that the upper decker of the toilet is where
he like develops his photos of the rabbit that has herpy face.
And thank God we ate before this movie.
Oh my god!
I think we would have gotten. I think we would have vomited.
Yeah, you're right.
Movie.
Oh yeah. Imagine eating.
Imagine.
Imagine eating. So that's one subplot.
And that goes on for a while with like him trying to cure his disease.
That subplot goes on for too long.
And the rat and they could have had one scene with it.
Yeah.
And you would have been and you would have gone.
Like we get it. The rabbit has herpes and the fly's trying to report on him. We don't need to
we don't need to keep cutting back to it with more information that we already know. And that leads to the rabbit.
The rabbit
gets
is like
violently ill on stage
during the big performance,
during the big number
everywhere.
that's supposed to be the selling point for this becoming a TV show.
Yeah.
And the walrus get pissed at the fly for trying to report on the rabbit getting sick, so he kills the fly.
Yeah.
And then when the rabbit gets violently ill on stage, he gets pissed at the rabbit and it orders it to get killed. But that goes awry.
I don't remember that.
Well, we don't remember because that happens almost right before things fly off the rails.
Yes. Okay. We should talk about.
And then there's a bunch of other subplots. The worst subplot
is the druggy crocodile who's a knife
I was going to say the worst subplot is the S&M subplot.
Which one was that?
The rat is filming porno movies with a cow and a cricket.
That one's so
it's so bad, but
there's no end to that plot.
It does nothing. It is included for the sake of being included.
So in the third act, what makes the movie become bearable in the third act after the first hour is that the really pointless subplots start to dissolve.
And they collide with each other.
They either collide with each other or they disappear.
Yeah, and like this adds to like the darker edge that the movie had started to build after the drug plot
the drug scenes have some good darker edge to them.
And after the drug plot reaches its conclusion, the movie kind of keeps that sort of dark edge, which helps.
The only subplots that really continue into the third act are the rabbit with herpes.
Oh, we forgot the elephant plot. The elephant.
Oh yeah,
the elephant has child support needs and pay.
That's a weird subplot because there's one scene about it early in the movie, and then it comes back at the very end.
You didn't need it. You didn't need it.
It was not necessary. The show was already a horrible mess without. So basically, the elephant goes on stage to try to like stall the audience while they figure out what the fuck's happening backstage. But then the woman who had the baby with the child
comes on stage
comes in and starts bitching at him and like outing the whole situation.
It's not, and it's like it doesn't add any more.
It's like, oh yeah, this character.
Like we already saw the rabbit get violently ill. The crocodile-looking fucker try to kill the porcupine.
Yes, he tries to kill,
and then accidentally kill himself.
That's basically the conclusion of the druggy plotline, which is also the Vietnam War flashback. Is he's doing the knife throwing with the porcupine. He sees the porcupine as the racist Vietnam puppet, starts throwing knives at him. The porcupine runs off stage, and then he throws a knife up in the air.
I thought it was going to
hit. I thought it was either going to come down and hit him, or it was going to hit an audience member.
Yeah,
and it hit him.
It hit him, and the audience erupts in applause.
Yeah, they applaud.
Which, to be fair, by that point, I would have applauded too, seeing these puppets die.
That's what these characters are so unlikable that you're fine with seeing them die.
These characters are so unlikable that a character could possibly go on a mass murder spree and he would applaud them. You might be wondering, Kirk, why did you bring up that plot point?
We'll see.
Well.
Okay, so the druggy subplot easily could have been cut. You just haven't
completely.
Just having him missing the knives because he's high would have been enough.
Yeah.
You don't need the Vietnam part.
You don't need the Vietnam.
Yeah.
You don't need it at all. And then,
if anything, it just makes the movie worse because
the elephant plot point is also unimportant, and then the rat.
The rat part
is
stupid.
The
rabbit could have been cut. All the subplots could have either been cut down or removed.
Yeah, the rat porno section is completely pointless.
It's just something to make us say fear.
It's grossness for the sake of grossness, and it does nothing.
There's no joke.
Basically, almost none of the characters featured in it come back except for the rat, who's like the walrus.
The rat is the most consistently horrible character. He's the same one who tries to rape the
Yeah, and he's not fun horrible. He's just
not.
horrible.
Yeah, there's not much humor.
No, this is supposed to be a comedy.
The scenes that work are the ones that lean into the horrific element of it.
The horror element, not the comedy element. This is supposed to be a comedy.
This movie is not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not even like.
Oh my god, that's so horrible funny.
It's like you're being gross. I don't care.
But okay, so everything coalesces together in this final performance.
Heidi before everything goes wrong, Heidi gives this amazing performance, and that's what convinces people that maybe this could actually be a TV show. And then she goes to celebrate with the walrus guy by like taking off her dress and being like, "Oh, we're gonna have some fun tonight."
This is after she knows that he's fucking the weasel.
Yes.
At this point, she's trying to win him back.
By being like, we're gonna have some fun tonight, and the walrus is like, I never loved you.
Yeah.
You're a fat pig.
Yeah.
I was only using you for your fame, but now that I have a TV show,
incredibly horrible.
I don't need you.
Now that I have a TV show,
so she goes to try and kill herself now.
She tries to hang herself.
Fails.
This is a bit that's example of something that's supposed to be funny but isn't really.
She tries to hang herself, fails because she's too fat, so she falls through the floor and it bungee cords her back up.
Yeah. So then she sets up a machine gun. I don't know where she got this machine gun, but she sets it up to be pointed at herself. But as she's about to kill herself, the weasel comes in,
and then she basically snaps.
She basically said, well, because the weasel is basically like, yeah, go ahead, kill yourself. I won't stop you.
She's like, make sure not to make too much of a mess.
Yeah.
You know how the walrus doesn't have to clean that up.
So then the hippo snaps, she turns the gun around, shoots the weasel.
And then goes on a murder spree.
She goes on a fucking mass shooting rampage backstage.
Everyone who wronged her, and a few who didn't. Yeah. And you should be like...
She goes onto stage and starts just shooting a Joker. Up the theater.
She pulls a Joker.
You get what you fucking deserve. Times 1,000.
And yet, this movie is...
The characters are so horrible that you don't even feel bad for anyone.
Imagine if in Joker, the characters have been written... Joker has problems, but imagine if in Joker, the characters have been written so poorly... And so atrociously that by the end, you are clapping and cheering and hooting and hollering when Arthur Fleck takes the stage and starts gunning people down, and not being horrified or being like, why? How could no one have seen this coming?
Yeah.
Look, how could no one have seen this broken man doing this?
Yeah.
No,
you're rooting for her to kill almost everyone.
And she does. She basically kills
everyone. And she basically kills every unlikable character.
Yeah, and a few that are maybe tolerable, but...
The only
people that survive are the recruiting agent, who is like a caterpillar, who was the first one who scouted Porcupine.
He's a nice character.
Porcupine and his girlfriend, who they make up in the cringiest.
They make up in this rushed scene in mid her shooting. Clearly added in after the fact.
Yeah,
because there's a bit. The end, after she's killed everyone, the rat comes in, is about to shoot her, then the porcupine swings in front and
misses?
Knocks him. He hits the rat and
does nothing. It stuns him for a moment.
And then during that moment, the hippo shoots the rat. Heidi shoots the rat,
and then she turns it on the walrus and blows his brains out.
So you can clearly see the original concept for this movie, which was Heidi gets shit on by all these people,
and then snaps,
and goes on a rampage and kills all the puppets. And that alone
could have worked
as a cult edge humor.
30 minutes, maybe 45 max.
Yeah.
Cut down or cut out entirely most of the subplots.
Everything with the hedgehog.
Everything with the hedgehog is gone because it interacts with nothing.
He does eventually find out that she was raped, but it's literally just quickly, they're like, oh shit, we have to resolve this. Okay, she quickly tells him I was drugged. He's like, oh cool, okay, I love you, and then he swings in, stops the rat, movie's over. He's the hero, except not really, because it's clear that he was not the original protagonist of this story.
Yeah. It is... If this had been a 30 to 45 minute TV special, I wouldn't have said it would have been good. I wouldn't even have said it would have been something I could have possibly liked. But I could have understood its appeal.
Yes.
I could have understood
the 71% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I could have understood the 71%. I could have understood it getting a cult following and being an early gemstone, an early example of a director trying to find their voice. But by turning it into a feature-length movie where you pad out, where it is padded out and padded out and padded out and padded out with some of the most vile, gross,
boring,
offensive,
it's not even like
disgusting,
awful. There's a certain point at which the offensiveness becomes...
It's shock fatigue. It's shock fatigue.
Yes.
You are so
It's right around the Vietnam scene. But then the problem is that when the movie shifts to being good, that made me angry all over again.
Because I was pissed off that it had been good. I was pissed off
The best scene. Well, let's talk about the best scene.
Yeah.
The drug deal scene.
Yeah.
Which is the climax of the drug plot. They have a drug deal in this like harbor.
Yeah.
And then the drug deal all goes wrong when this giant spider shows up. Which that's actually a really great shot. They pan up the web.
Yeah.
And you think it's like a rope to. I thought it was like a rope to a
like
helicopter
a or something.
Or a helicopter.
Yeah, or a helicopter.
And then it pans up.
And it's a fucking
and it's
spider.
a fucking giant spider.
And then like,
don't watch this if you have like serious arachnophobia.
Well, no, I have arachnophobia, and I was fine because the spider isn't clearly like a fake spider.
Yeah.
It's clearly a puppet.
It's
of a
not
spider.
as realistic.
It's not a realistic. It's not a real
fly,
and it's not a realistic spider. It's got big cartoony eyes. Not be a little spider eyes.
Yes. So then it drops down and eats one of the characters'
outright.
head. Yeah.
And then latches
and everybody else is
car.
piling in the car like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. The spider latches onto the car drives away, goes over like a
bridge
through this giant fish creature and out its butt, which, whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid, but like
fear.
Passable stupid.
Yeah.
And
that could have been better. That could have been fine if that had been like one of the few gross jokes or whatever.
That scene has horror elements.
It's got
good puppetry, creative setup,
creative
good shots,
creative shots.
Like that scene. If you just watch that scene, you could probably assume that this movie was
like a gritty puppet horror movie or something.
But the rest, and it's like that. That's why I say the drug subplot is the best, because the early scenes of it are short enough that you don't hate them.
Yeah.
And the later scenes are genuinely good.
Yeah. And the second best scene, if you want to even call it a scene, because it's basically the entire last 10 minutes of the movie, is Heidi shooting the place up.
Heidi shooting up the place is actually like a strong climactic conclusion of shit, something's happening, and it's
even though it's like, oh no, she's committing mass murder or whatever, but
and because it's
against people you hate so much and puppets that you don't sympathize.
And because it's puppets, there's shock humor value.
Yeah, like, oh my god,
the rest of the movie doesn't.
These cute puppets are doing such awful things to each other, which I guess was supposed to be the appeal, but they went too far.
Not just that they went too far, it just wasn't funny.
It just wasn't funny. The setups they used did not utilize until the ending. Until the ending, like the setups they used did not make use of the fact that they were puppets. And you could make humans doing this exact same setup of like humans doing gross, absurd things, and it would have been just as bad.
Also, because of the stretched out nature of the movie, nothing pays off until the end.
Yeah.
So the first hour is just pointless scene after pointless scene after pointless scene, and anytime you think it's gonna go anywhere,
it doesn't.
It doesn't. And every subplot that they cut back to is like, oh god, not this again. Oh god, not this again.
Oh god, not the rabbit. Oh god, not the fly. Oh god, not the...
Because every character is so horrible.
Yeah. So, in conclusion...
Don't watch Meet the Feebles.
Don't watch Meet the Feebles.
There is a horrifying, shit-eating puppet demon inside of this case.
And we are going to exorcise
it. Lights off. Whoa.
Oh, that's really dark.
That's really dark. Never mind.
Wait, I'll turn on...
Oh, yeah, you get your lamp.
No, that's too bright. No, it's still bright.
Whatever. Who cares?
Wait, hang on. I got a lightsaber.
That's a good idea. Our cross. Meet the Feebles! Meet the Feebles! Meet the Feebles!
Feebles, you have committed atrocities against humankind. You have sold your soul to Lucifer.
Peter Jackson.
For power, for fame, for infamy, for money.
Doing the
You have
thing,
become
kind of.
you have become that which you hate most. And we shall banish you from
Strike
this
you
world.
down!
We shall strike you down and banish you from this earth.
No, we didn't just break it. I mean, honestly, like, who cares? The disc is fine.
The disc is fine.
Okay.
There's Leonard Nimoy on it. Why is there Leonard Nimoy on this disc?
What do you mean? Where? Where does it say Leonard Nimoy?
It's Spock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's just the store. That's their I Love Video. We got all of these movies from a weird video rental store.
This whole
that
idea
we found in Austin.
This whole idea got started because,
we took a few wrong turns on the way home and ended up in, like outskirts
the
of Austin, boonies. And
yeah.
Found this
I mean,
huge
it also
video
kind of started because I've always, I've liked the idea of starting a podcast, but I've never had the courage to.
You've always wanted to make a podcast. I have a YouTube channel that you're watching this on that is slowly dying in its content output because I'm just, like, too lazy and not as interested in making the gaming videos that I've been making.
But now we combined our powers.
Combine
like
our
powers.
unholy powers.
Yeah. And now we are the Fear
Fear
Podcast.
The Fear Podcast. Episode